Hi, everybody. Welcome to Back to Reality. I'm Danny.
And I'm Danielle, and we are going to be talking about reality TV, all the gossip, the drama, everything you love. You can find it right here with us. Today, we're going to talk about the Housewives of Beverly Hills, the newest episode, The Divided States of Erica. It says, election night takes a turn when Kyle and Dorit's past issues resurface. Erica's shocking announcement is the topic of conversation at Sutton's Paris-themed luncheon, as the women seek answers, trying to make sense of it all. Meanwhile, Crystal opens up about a difficult period in her life, and Lisa gets a thrill playing with her hubby's fire hose.
That sounds way more exciting than what it actually was, guys.
Yeah, yeah, her hubby's fire hose.
I love Lisa and Harry.
I do too. They are my favorite. They're such a
I
cute
know.
couple.
They're so cute together.
They are. His little garden.
I know. He's
I
a
love it.
gardener now.
Yes, it's amazing. And he's
So,
very paranoid about or eccentric about the pandemic.
yeah. Um, oh, what was I going to say? So let's talk about the infamous text that Miss Girardi sent to all the girls.
Oh yes, about her divorce.
Yeah. So they were all pretty shocked because they got a text from Erica saying that did it say she was filing or she did file?
She said that she had filed for divorce that day, that evening.
Yeah. And nobody knew, like, there was no warnings, no, nothing.
Because they'd always been such a good couple in love, getting along, everything like that. And she'd always talked about how she was going to be with him and hold his hand till he died. So, I mean, it just came as a huge shock to everybody. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So,
And we will be covering the documentary about Erica and Tom. That should be our next video.
yeah.
So if you like the content that you're seeing, please hit the subscribe and the like buttons and turn on the notifications so you know when we post new videos.
Yes. And let us know down below your thoughts on everything with a comment about the whole Erica situation and just everything about the housewives.
Right. Remember, this is our first video, so be kind.
Yeah, be kind. This is our very first one.
So I want to talk about it still came up in season 11, or I mean in episode 5, about Sutton walking in on Crystal to give her her coat.
Yeah, she said she told Crystal that she told Sutton that she thought it was very creepy. She acted very creepy when she came in because she was like, I don't know what you're doing in here, but here you go, and then walked out while she was butt naked.
Right. Sutton did kind of throw shade at her, like she was doing something she shouldn't have been doing, or
like she was in there playing with herself or something. And it's like, no, I'm getting dressed.
right. And she does share with us. Crystal shares with us that she struggles with bulimia and she's recovering from bulimia. So I'm thinking maybe that had something to do with her having such a strong reaction. Just that like body dysmorphia. Trying to hide herself.
Mm-hmm. And she looked kind of sad, like throughout the dinner. As like she didn't show up to the dinner, but then at the luncheon, she seemed kind of off a little bit. Or at the election party, she seemed kind of off a little bit, like down. And I think that is because of her beef with Crystal. Or with Sutton. It just doesn't seem like she's over it yet.
Right. There's a lot of beef going on this season.
Yeah. Crystal's the new girl, so I mean, she's not used to any of that. She's got to get used to it all. So
Right. And hey, I'll be the first to say, if you're not used to drama and fighting and you get thrown into that, it is not a comfortable situation.
No, it's not. And then at the election party, they were all supposed to be wearing patriotic outfits. And Dorit comes in wearing this leprechaun outfit, this white green, and her husband makes a comment on it. And she's like, what? This is patriotic? And he's like, yeah, if you live in Ireland.
The only thing patriotic was the vote beret that she had in her hair.
Yep. And then her and Kyle, of course, got into it again.
Again, they're having a hard time this season.
Yeah, because Kyle had interrupted her on the plane, I guess, talking about the subject, and Dorit said, "Let me finish my sentence." And then Kyle got mad, went off on her and started crying. And she goes, "You're crying because of me?"
I do feel like that got blown out of proportion. And I love Kyle, but I like Dory too. But I do feel like that was blown out of proportion. I mean, they've thought about much more important things than that.
Right. Like the year before when Kyle told Dorit, "Fuck you," or "F you."
Right.
So.
And Kyle tells Dorit, "Don't ever talk to me that way again, or we won't be friends."
Right.
After she told her "F you" a few times last season.
Yeah, they showed the flashback.
Yeah.
So, and then, Kyle was like, "I want us to be okay." And she's like, we're fine. She goes, "We're not fine. You're doing the Erika, I'm fine thing." And she's like, "We're fine. We're good. And then she gets up and walks away. And Kyle's like, "Why are you walking away?" "Because I don't want to be here." Yeah, I'm done.
Because I'm done. After we're good. I'm done.
I'm done. Yeah, I guess I'm not so good then.
And then she makes a quick exit.
Yeah.
She goes and she gets her husband and pretty much demands, "Let's leave now."
Yeah, she makes up some excuse, says they're going somewhere else, but
yeah,
I don't know why she really left.
Right.
So
apparently they're not okay. They're not good.
They're not good at all. They're not good. Let's see. Oh, and then Sutton and Garcelle they go Bentley shopping for a Bentley. Sutton's shopping for a Bentley, and they come in with their masks on. And Sutton's like, "Oh, I had them shut down the entire store so we could shop maskless."
Right.
It's like, oh, that must be nice to just be able to shut down the store.
Can you do that for me on grocery shopping day at Walmart?
Right? Exactly. That would be nice. Yeah. And then Garcelle asks how much the Bentley is, and the guy says $380,000 for a Bentley.
Yeah, for
one car. That's more than a house in a lot of places.
Right. That's definitely more than a house that I could afford.
Yeah. And they get to test drive it without anybody in the car. No salesman, no nothing. They just, boop, go take it off.
Right. And then when Crystal's husband meets Sutton, he gets along with her fine. And he tells his wife, "She seemed okay to me. She seemed very nice. She was friendly,
Yeah.
And Crystal throws a little bit of shade there and says, "Well, she was on her best behavior."
Yeah. Oh, and then, I forgot, we need to go back a second. At that dinner, where she walked in on Crystal naked and go to the dinner, they talked about that at the election party, and Kyle said, "Well, she was acting on her best behavior that night." And Crystal's like, "Yeah, I wonder if that's because I wasn't there, though."
Yeah.
So, yeah. It could just be that it's because Crystal wasn't there, and maybe she just doesn't like Crystal because she's the new girl. I don't know, but so there's still stuff going on with that.
Yeah, it seems like with Crystal and with Garcelle, they both seem like they. I think I said, because we watched the show together, and I think I even said while we were watching it, they're never going to make it on this show and with this group if they're going to hold on to grudges.
Yeah.
The way they are so far this season.
Yeah, because like Garcelle was holding on to Lisa Rinna's grudge hard about Denise from last season still.
And to Kyle. She still is not okay with Kyle either.
Yeah, because at the dinner, she still was talking about it with Lisa. And
right.
It's just crazy.
And I do feel like when they had the conversation, she did leave the conversation like they were okay, basically let's rebuild.
Mm-hmm. And then Kyle this time she told her, "No, we're not okay, but I'm working on it." And Kyle and Lisa was like, "Yes, thank you. Finally, you told the truth."
And that's been Kyle's thing this season too, that people aren't being honest about their feelings, and she was right.
Mm-hmm. Because Sutton even admitted that when she first made up with Lisa, she wasn't okay with her. She just said she was at the time to, brush it out. But that now she is. But when she first made up with her, she wasn't.
Right.
So
How about did did you get a load of Sutton's dirty phone screen? I'm going to be Petty Betty here.
It was disgusting. It looked like she had it up to her ear and just sweated all over it and never cleaned it. There was like
Oh, it was awful.
all over it. It was pretty nasty.
It was gross.
And we did notice that 90s jeans, the mom jeans and the buttonfly jeans are coming back.
Yep.
Kyle was shopping for one of her daughters and she was like, wow, the mom jeans are back, huh?
I was actually talking with my daughter this week, and I said I said we grew up because I grew up in the 80s, and I said we grew up in the best decade ever.
Yeah.
And I said, and it's all coming back.
I love it all.
Yep. Yep, me too.
Yep, 80s and 90s were the best.
Yeah. So then, who was it that it's Sutton, right? That invites all the girls to Paris.
Yeah. No, was it to Paris? I think she was doing a Paris themed lunch.
Because she invites them to go to Paris, I thought, but maybe not.
I don't if they can.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're probably right. I just don't remember. I know she's doing. I think she is doing an invitation, but they're doing the Paris themed luncheon. That's where Erika is going to be showing up. That's where she's on her way to at the beginning of the episode.
Yes, and of course they make us wait till the very end of the show before we see Erika at all in this episode.
Yep. As soon as we started the episode and they showed it at the very beginning, I was like, watch, they're going to make us wait till the very end.
Yep.
They did.
And Rinna shows up in the same dress that Kyle was wearing to Sutton's luncheon.
Again. And it wasn't planned. If she had done that with Erika earlier in the season.
Right. Yeah. She
grew up wearing a black polka dot dress. Kyle answers the door and they both start screaming, no, again, Ron, shut up.
It did look good on both of them. I can't honestly say who wore it better. Yeah. Maybe Kyle, only because she added the hat.
Oh, yeah, that's true. She did add the hat.
Yeah.
What was I getting ready to say? Oh, and then Erika walks in, of course, has to comment on it because she was matching with Rinna last time.
Right. Oh, my gosh. I think Erika is probably the one that would bother the most.
Yeah, probably. We got to see, right before that, we got to see Harry and Lisa's little garden. And he wanted a pool because it's not for swimming, it's a reservoir for when the world ends.
Because that's where we're headed with COVID.
Yeah, exactly. He has his little garden and his little compost, and she looks at him and says, are you putting poo in there?
And he actually acted like he was thinking about it for a second, like maybe that's what I'm missing. And he kind of stops, looks up and kind of thinks, and he goes, no. I love them.
Yeah. And then she has her husband's fire hose, which is actually a real fireman's flat hose.
Yeah.
Pulls out and goes around their entire yard.
I was impressed.
I was too. They had to fill up the pool.
I was impressed actually with Lisa too, because when those things have water going through them, they are not easy to control.
Yeah, and she was able to pull it all the way around and back up. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did good. I love them. They are my favorite couple ever.
Yeah, I love them too. They seem to have a very strong marriage.
They even discussed his previous divorce, because they were talking about Erika's divorce, and then he had discussed how he didn't fight over just like that because he didn't want anything from her. He didn't want to fight her, just whatever she wanted, she could have. He just wanted out.
Yep.
And they had got together shortly after that, and he looked at her and said, yeah, I don't ever want to go through a divorce again. Pinky, and she goes, me neither, and he made her pinky promise. I thought that was so adorable.
I know. I think they're good. They've got 2 grown children. They made it through that. They should be okay.
And she did touch when Crystal brought up her eating disorder. She said she was glad she brought it up to raise awareness because her daughter had trouble with anorexia a couple of years back. Remember that? Yeah,
and now she came home from school because of having such bad anxiety and everything. It's nice to see those things being discussed on television because it's anything mental health seems to be so taboo to speak about these days. So
I remember when we were younger, you didn't discuss discuss that.
No,
Like the most
no.
we got were the after school specials where it was a real cheese fest of, oh, should I ask this boy out?
Yeah. So we didn't really even know to go, if you had anxiety or anything back then, you didn't really even know to go to your parents or a guidance counselor for help because it really was just not discussed then.
Nope. Like I had ADD all growing up, and my mom never realized. In hindsight, she did, but at the time, they just tell you, oh, your kids are just hyper.
Right.
And back when we were kids, they didn't really do that like they do now. So
Right.
I'm just glad to see it's coming around.
Exactly.
About time.
Yep. Because I know, like, raising kids, um, you know, a lot of parents don't. I've run across a lot of, friends of my kids and stuff that have anxiety or even depression, and they don't even tell their parents because they don't realize this isn't how you're supposed to feel.
Right.
If that's what you know, you don't realize it's wrong, I guess.
Exactly. You just know it as the norm.
Right.
So
So how about I was floored watching it. How about when they're talking before Erika arrives and they're talking.
Say the same thing.
Yeah, and they're talking about her, filing for divorce, and Garcelle says, "Why doesn't she just wait?"
Yeah.
And literally, I'm sitting there, I'm sure you were, and all of the women were sitting there like on the edge of their seat waiting for her to say, like, what should she wait for?
Yeah.
And then she doesn't say it.
I know what you mean. But
yeah. She doesn't say it, and so it kind of dawns on everybody like, well, I think we all thought that that's what she meant when she said it. We were just shocked.
Yeah.
That she actually said it.
Like, oh, you mean, and she was like, well, I mean, like, he's 85 years old. And someone was like, oh, you mean wait till he dies? And then,
yeah.
And then they were like, some people live to be like 100 nowadays. Plus, if he does that, everything he did could come onto her, and she could lose all of her income, everything. They could take her money because they've frozen his accounts. If they're still married, they can do that to her.
Right.
So
I don't know really how much money. Well, I mean, she does the show. I was going to say if it weren't for the show, because I don't think
I don't
she's
think there's any return on her, Erika Jane.
Right, and she is on Broadway now, but I don't know. I mean, I have no idea what you'd make on Broadway.
If she has a bigger part, she would make good money. But yeah.
Yeah, she does. She has a starring role, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll discuss that more when we talk about on the other episode with Wife and the Hustler about their divorce and all that stuff. But yeah,
and then Erika finally comes in.
Yeah,
and we wait all episode. Right, she finally comes in at the end. We're all waiting.
It says, "To be continued."
Yep. I screamed. I said, we were on the phone together, and I was like, "No!"
I was all I could say was, "I told you so," because I knew they were going to do that to us. I knew it.
Oh, I hate that.
They do that every time when they show you something at the beginning and then go back in time and wait. Oh, I hate that.
But we'll be watching next week because of it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Anne did confirm that she does discuss her divorce on the show and all that stuff.
Oh, that has to be hard. I mean, not to mention, it's bad enough because I think she truly loves him. And it's bad enough that it had to end because of that. But then, for her to basically be walking away scared to death that everything's going to be taken away. And she knows what it's like to not have money.
Yeah. Yep.
She doesn't want to go back there. I don't blame her.
No, I don't blame her either. It sucks. Having money is good.
Yeah. Money good. Broke bad.
Oh, man.
I think that's about it for that episode.
I'll get my camera set up for next week.
We will be covering, if there's any Big Brother fans out there, we will be covering Big Brother. We are huge Big Brother fans, and I've watched it since
Love.
season 1.
Yep, me too.
So,
Some years.
yeah.
And we will also be covering Love Island as well for any of those Love Island people out there.
Yep. And any other reality shows that people might request or that we might find along the way.
Yeah, definitely.
So we thank you guys all for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on your way out. And
hit the notification bell, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts on the episode and everything.
All that good stuff.
Yes. Definitely.
And we will see you on our next video.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
See you next time.